You are listening to Curious Cat, the podcast that examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. And I'm your host, Jennifer Holtz. Join me every week as I examine what it means to be a soul in a meat suit. Welcome to Curious Cat. Decades ago, my big brother attended a conference at the University of Toronto. It was in the dead of winter, and he told me about their extensive tunnel system that connects the city and university, sparing people from having to walk above ground in those sub-zero climes. As young kids, whenever we traveled over the Cascade Mountains, we begged our mother to take us on this underground Seattle tour when we were here on this side of the mountains. From the Catacombs of Paris to rumors of underground alien bases, what else lies beneath our feet? I'm curious. First, let's look at the mundane. Stuff beneath our feet that probably isn't as exciting as alien base rumors. But I found an informational video from Cheddar on YouTube. In it, they look at the layers beneath New York City. Wires for communication, water mains, steam pipes, pneumatic mail tubes from Bowling Green to Harlem. Semi-operational until 1953, these tubes covered 27 miles. They were used to zip letters across the city from skyscraper to skyscraper. Still deeper down beneath New York City, you'll find sewer lines, subway lines. There's even a 6-lane freeway built in the 1960s. It was completely abandoned after Bob Dylan recorded and released a protest song. At the corner of Bowery and Canal Street, 50 feet below, engineers found a secret room covered with mirror fragments, and no one knows who put it there or why. There's a warren of tunnels under Chinatown that were once used by Al Capone's gangs to transport bootlegged liquor and do other unspeakable things, I'm sure. There's water tunnels with a third tunnel under construction now, and that construction began 53 years ago. There's a whole micro ecosystem that's vital to the workings of our planet beneath our feet. Roots, mycelium, and bacteria. Think you're missing out on the underground action because you live in a rural place and not New York City? Yeah, well, get ready to kiss that FOMO goodbye. From The Guardian, beneath our feet is an ecosystem so astonishing that it tests the limits of our imagination. It's as diverse as a rainforest or a coral reef. We depend on it for 99% of our food, yet we scarcely know it. Soil. Writer George Monbiot goes on to explain, when I first examined a lump of soil with a powerful lens, I could scarcely believe what I was seeing. As soon as I found the focal length, it burst into life. I immediately saw springtails, tiny animals similar to insects, in dozens of shapes and sizes. Round, crabby mites were everywhere. In some soils, there are 500,000 in every square meter. Then I began to see creatures I had never encountered before. What I took to be a tiny white centipede turned out, when I looked it up, to be a different life form altogether, called a symphid. I spotted something that might have stepped out of a Japanese anime, long and low, with 2 fine antennae at the front and 2 at the back, poised and sprung like a virile dragon or a flying horse. It was a bristletail, or dipluran. As I worked my way through the lump, again and again, I found animals whose existence, despite my degree in zoology and a lifetime immersed in natural history, had been unknown to me. After 2 hours examining a kilogram of soil, I realized I had seen more of the major branches of the animal kingdom than I would on a week's safari in the Serengeti. There can be 1 billion bacteria in a single gram of rhizosphere. The rhizosphere lies outside the plant, but it functions as if it were part of the whole. It could be seen as the plant's external gut. The similarities between the rhizosphere and the human gut, where bacteria also live in astonishing numbers, are uncanny. While we're focusing on the topics of organics beneath our feet, do you know about the wealth of fossils being excavated in the center of Los Angeles? La Brea Tar Pits is built as a gateway back to the Ice Age right in the heart of LA. It's the only actively excavated Ice Age asphalt site in the world. They've found more than 1 million bones, from a plethora of dire wolves to saber-toothed cats to coyotes to American lions to mastodons to one unfortunate woman that they've named La Brea Woman, who died some maybe 10,000 years ago and whose skull appears to have been smashed in, which some indicate is proof she is the first murder victim in North America. They've created a park that surrounds the museum and active archaeological site that's filled with the plants that thrived in LA 40,000 years ago, as well as gigantic sculptures of the creatures that existed then. If you visit the City of Angels, take time out to visit. This magical place is the reason the smell of tar or asphalt makes me super nostalgic. We were frequent visitors from the moment the doors opened in the 1970s. In the present day, there are countless critters that make the space beneath our feet home. I mentioned the plants, mycelium, and bacteria, but others are worth mentioning too. Fennec foxes, burrowing owls, prairie dogs, chipmunks, moles, dwarf mongoose, Chinese pangolin, funnel web spider, armadillo, weasel, wombat, red fox, kingfisher bird, pocket gophers, which I'd love to see in real life, polar bears, tortoises, snakes, rabbits, badgers, to name a few. When you walk in nature, tread lightly. Someone lives down there. There are quite a few odd underground places, actual confirmed locations. We'll talk about the rumors later. One of them is the Radon Health Mine in Montana. It was once used for silver mining dating back to 1924. And then in 1949, the then abandoned mine was found to be radioactive. And a woman came to visit, and she proclaimed that she was healed thanks to the radon. Word spread, and soon the abandoned space was turned into a radon therapy mine. The Walizek salt mine in Poland is a World Heritage Site. There's no place in the world quite like it. It's been mined continuously since the Middle Ages. Miners carved intricate rooms and sculptures within the Miocene salt. There's even a subterranean cathedral with glowing chandeliers. If you're looking to take a boat trip like no other, visit the spectacular Waitomo glowworm caves in New Zealand, specifically the Glowworm Grotto. The Waitomo network of limestone caves attracts 1 million visitors a year. A guided tour takes people through stunning underground scenery. The acoustics in the cathedral cavern are world-renowned, but it's the Glowworm Grotto that gets all the glory. Illuminated in bioluminescence producing female glowworms to attract mates. Without them, the cave would be pitch black. There's a hell gate in the heart of China, according to Atlas Obscura. It's a city of ghosts called Fengdu and has close ties to Naraka, the underworld of Chinese mythology. Visitors are treated to a rare glimpse into the workings of hell. This 2,000-year-old settlement is located at the north end of the Yangtze River. Established during the Han Dynasty, which ran from 2006 BC to 220 AD, it's famous for its striking traditional architecture and elaborate craftsmanship. The streets and squares are filled with statues of demons and ghosts, plus reminders of the punishments waiting for the wicked in the next life. Most striking of all is the Ghost King, the largest rock sculpture in the world. A giant carved face looks down on Fengdu. The forest around it encroaches on the sculpture, lending it an even more chilling underworld vibe. Octun Tunichil Muknal Cave in Belize is a cave network which Mayans believed was an entrance to the underworld, Xibalba. The name Octun Tunichil Muknal translates as Cave of the Crystal Sepulchre, located in the Tapir Mountain Nature Preserve. It is linked to Mayan legends. Stories describe rivers of blood and scorpions, as well as a vast subterranean labyrinth ruled over by the Mayan death gods. Rediscovered in 1989, they've become a popular destination with explorers. From the Atlas Obscura article, which I've linked to in the show notes, the skeleton of an 18-year-old girl lies among the fragments of pottery and bone. Believed to have been ritualistically murdered in the cave as a sacrifice to the death gods, she has been nicknamed the Crystal Maiden. It's been 1,000 years since her death, and her bones have calcified to create a shimmering crystal effect. St. Patrick's Purgatory in Ireland serves as an entrance to the hell of Christian scripture, according to some. Founded in the 15th century, St. Patrick's Purgatory is a small monastery on Ireland's Station Island. According to legend, St. Patrick once visited the island where Jesus sent him visions of the torments of hell. The cave where St. Patrick received those awful hallucinations was later confirmed to be an entrance to Satan's pit, and a monastery was built to plug the cave. It's been sealed since October 1632. Antarctica. It deserves its own spotlight. Science, supernatural, rumors, between the whispers about a secret Nazi base to the actual curious proven locales, it's worth a deep dive. Fun fact, did you know that 70% of the planet's fresh water is contained in Antarctica's ice? There are rumors of the continent being the location of the lost city of Atlantis and the home of an alien federation, but let's stick to the verifiables for the time being. There are underground mountains and hundreds of lakes beneath thick layers of ice. Scientists documented the lakes in the 1970s using echo sounding, estimating 400 plus lakes, though there could be twice as many. There's also frozen methane down there. Have you heard of Abraham Lake in Canada, which is full of ice bubbles? Well, those frozen bubbles are frozen methane that comes from microbiomes digesting organic matter in the water. Right now, huge amounts of methane are frozen, hidden in the ice of Antarctica. Don't worry about a potential methane bomb if the ice melts. Researchers are currently studying bacteria that eat this methane in an elegant, albeit teeny-weeny ecosystem. There's bacteria that dates back 420,000 years in Antarctica's ice. More fun facts. Did you know long ago Antarctica was as warm as LA? It would have been very hospitable, which explains the endless theories about grand abandoned cities in the frozen depths of Antarctica. Ancient rainforests once existed here. Leaf impressions and fossilized wood prove this to be true. From a boring company, not dull, a literal company that digs into the earth out of England. They list the 7 strangest underground discoveries. Let's see if you agree. A Ferrari, discovered where else but Los Angeles, of course. In February 1978, a young group of boys were digging around in the yard of their new home in LA when they came across something big and made of metal. The boys had actually discovered a Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. It was not known who'd hid it there, but it was obvious that whoever it was had planned on retrieving the Italian sports car at some point because it had been very crudely mummified with towels in the vents and tape on the seams. Unluckily, however, they'd forgotten to fully close the windows, causing a lot of damage to the car's interior. But who did this to the Ferrari, and how did it end up being buried in someone's garden? After a lot of speculation and media attention with very few leads, it was concluded that the car, which had been declared stolen 4 years prior by its owners, had been buried there by thieves. The then current residents had only moved into the property a few months earlier, but amazingly, none of the neighbors reported ever seeing the car being buried. It is LA, though. The car was returned to the insurance company that had covered the original owner's loss, and it was put up for private auction. At the time, the press were puzzled and amused that a thief would bury a car, especially in his backyard. Many jokes were passed around at the time. One customer to car salesman, "Say, I'd like to buy a Ferrari. Got any leads?" And the salesman says, "Let me get back to you. I'll see what I can dig up." Today, the Ferrari remains unlisted on any registry. The Williams Enigmalith. I've never even heard of an Enigmalith until this account. In 1998, electrical engineer John Williams discovered what is now known as the Williams Enigmalith, a combination of the words enigma and monolith, or the petrodox, protruding out of the ground while he was on a hike. He proceeded to dig up the strange-looking rock, which, upon inspection, turned out had some sort of metal component attached to it, kind of resembling an electrical plug. You should Google it because it's really an odd-looking artifact, or air quote artifact. According to Williams, who has consulted an engineer and geologist to examine the specimen, the electronic component embedded in the granite reveals no trace of having been glued or welded in any form known, and geological analysis found it to be about 100,000 years old. Allegedly, Williams has encouraged scientists to examine the stone, but none have ever done so. There are those who believe the stone is an elaborate hoax, as the metal components bear a strong resemblance to modern-day electrical plugs. In the Catacombs of Paris, they've discovered a full-blown movie theater. It was August 2004. Police in Paris discovered a fully equipped cinema in a large and previously uncharted underground cavern. The officers stumbled across the find during a routine training exercise across the Seine from the Eiffel Tower. The 400 square meter cave had been transformed into an underground amphitheater with terraces cut into the rock. Police found a full-size cinema screen, projection equipment, as well as a wide variety of films. None of these films were banned or offensive and included 1950s noir films as well as recent thrillers. A second cave next door had been used as an informal restaurant and bar. The whole thing rang off a professionally installed electricity system, and there were at least 3 phone lines down there, a police spokesperson said. But who would hide a private cinema in an unknown underground cave? 3 days later, the police returned with experts from the French Electricity Board and found that all the phone and electricity lines had been cut. A note was lying in the middle of the floor which read, "Do not try to find us." It was later discovered that the mysterious underground cinema was actually the work of the UX, or Urban Experiment, a secret organization that restores forgotten areas of Paris. There's the story of the Betts Mystery Sphere. Back in 1974 in Florida, a fire destroyed a large part of the Betts family's woodlands. As they examined the damage, they stumbled across a really odd metal ball, completely smooth except for a single elongated triangle symbol. Thinking it was some sort of space junk or meteor, they took it home with them. After about 2 weeks, the Betts family started noticing something strange about the metal orb they'd brought into their home. The sphere would resonate with certain sounds and frequencies, causing it to vibrate and hum like a tuning fork when, say, you were playing a guitar or other music nearby. What's more, the Betts family discovered that if the orb was pushed across the floor, it would change direction of its own accord and often return to its original starting position. The Betts family decided to go to the media, and photojournalist Lon Iger of the St. Petersburg Times corroborated the claims. Mrs. Betts told me to put it on the floor and give it a push. It rolled a ways and stopped. So what? She said. Just wait a minute. It turned by itself and rolled to the right about 4 feet. It stopped, then it turned again and rolled to the left about 8 feet, made a big arc, and came back right to my feet. A media frenzy ensued. Respected papers such as the New York Times and London Daily sent reporters to witness the sphere, which repeated its tricks to countless people. To this day, it's still not known for certain what the Betts mystery sphere is, and we might never know because its current whereabouts are allegedly unknown. However, there have been many theories attempting to explain its possible nature, from an alien artifact to a plain and simple ball valve bearing. The Antikythera mechanism, found in a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera under 45 meters of water. The 2,000-year-old mysterious Antikythera mechanism was discovered in 1900. For decades, scientists have been trying to figure out exactly what the mechanism is. Many have labeled it as the first mechanical computer. According to a professor at Cardiff University, Michael Edmonds, who led the team studying the mechanism, this device is just extraordinary, the only thing of its kind. The design is beautiful. The astronomy is exactly right. The way the mechanics are designed just makes your jaw drop. Whoever has done this has done it extremely carefully in terms of historic and scarcity value. I have to regard this mechanism as being more valuable than the Mona Lisa. The Antikythera mechanism is now understood to be dedicated to astronomical phenomenon and operates as a complex mechanical computer which tracks the cycles of the solar system. Analysis reveals that the device's dials had pointers for the sun and the moon, as well as markings that coincide with the zodiac and solar calendars. Other dials were used to predict solar and lunar eclipses. The machine dates from around the end of the 2nd century BC. Nothing as complex is known to have existed in the following 1,000 years. This is why the mechanism is so strange and unique. It's the most advanced artifact ever found from the ancient world. Boats in San Francisco? During the California Gold Rush era in the 1850s, thousands of ships sailed in and out of San Francisco, harboring adventurers in search of their fortune. During the height of the gold excitement, there were at least 500 ships stranded in the harbor, some without even a watchman on board and none with a crew sufficiently large to work her. Many of those vessels never sailed again. Some rotted away and sank at their moorings. The ships anchored in Yerba Buena Cove, which is now downtown San Francisco. Most of them never went to sea again, abandoned as their passengers and often their entire crew left in search of gold. Some were put to other uses, used as offices, stores, and a hotel. One ship was even used as the city jail. About 40 ships are known to lie under the streets of downtown San Francisco, but estimates claim that as many as 75 could be lost beneath the city. As the bay was filled in to expand the city, the ships were simply built over. The last buried ship to be uncovered was the General Harrison, a gold rush ship discovered in the financial district in 2001. Last on the list of that boring company's most interesting discoveries underground was the Baghdad batteries. So in 1938, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig unearthed the mysterious clay jar in a place just outside of Baghdad. in modern-day Iraq. The jar contained an iron rod encased in a copper cylinder, and early tests revealed that an acidic agent such as vinegar or wine had been present. Koenig believed he had stumbled across an old battery and published his conclusions despite religious backlash at the time. However, soon after World War II began and Koenig's discovery was forgotten, more than 60 years after their discovery, the Baghdad batteries, as they are now known, more than one was found actually, are shrouded in mystery. The batteries have always attracted interest. They are a one-off as far as we know. Nobody else has found anything like these. They are odd things. They are one of life's enigmas, said Dr. Paul Craddock, a metallurgy expert of the ancient Near East from the British Museum. No one is certain exactly how and where Koenig made the discovery. Some sources claim the batteries were excavated, while others say he found them in the basement of the Baghdad Museum, and the date of the artifacts is also in dispute. I troll the depths of the internet, so you don't have to. And while I was digging around there, I found some sketchy rumors about stuff beneath our feet from even sketchier websites. So I had to share those before we close. So from one site, and the links are in the bottom of the show notes, the enormous dark pyramid buried in Alaska, known as the Black Pyramid Theory. This rumor emerged on May 22nd, 1992, when China tested a 1 megaton device that resulted in incredible seismic patterns being spotted beneath the Earth's crust. This is when observers came across a very large pyramid underneath Alaska, which was revealed on the AM radio show Coast to Coast by researcher Linda Moulton Howe. Confirmed apparently by U.S. Army officer Mutlisher, the location was discovered to be within the Alaska Triangle, a region ripe with anomalies, and Moulton Howe believes the two are somehow connected. If true, the Black Pyramid would be the largest artificial structure ever built on Earth and twice the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The structure is said to lie deep in the wilderness between Nome and Mount McKinley and is believed to be guarded by the U.S. military. It's alleged to be alien technology, and some say it generates its own energy, and if we utilized it, could power up all of North America for free. Mount Shasta in California, the southernmost peak of the Cascade Mountain range on the west coast of the U.S., has been a hotbed of rumors going back more than a century. Is there a secret underground city in Mount Shasta? Some California American Indian tribes consider the mountain forbidden because it houses a city of invisible people. Others theorize it's a portal to Lemuria, a 15,000-year-old civilization said to inhabit tunnels of dead volcanoes after their land was destroyed. Mount Shasta is believed to be one of 7 sacred peaks on Earth, and Shasta legends include ones about UFOs, aliens, angels, spirit guides, and adepts. Telos is the city some claim lies beneath the mountain and is home to those displaced Lemurians. In 1904, J.C. Brown, he was an explorer for the British Mining Company, reported discovering a cavern that held a giant skeleton and had walls painted with hieroglyphics. In 1932, Edward Lansworth sighted a clan of people garbed in white robes and had lots of gold living in the mountain. In 1932, Abraham Mansfield swore he'd met a tribe of Lemurians who dug tunnels connecting Shasta to the Bluff Creek region. In 1972, a San Jose man sighted a reptilian hominid. Others claimed to have seen hairy hominids and robed giants. In 2010, so closer to the present time, author David Paulides, a former LA police officer, investigated the disappearance of a 3.5-year-old boy who'd gone missing from the family campsite. After an extensive search, the boy was found 5 hours later and miles away. He'd later recount that some one, looking like his grandma, but different in a bad way, led him into a cavern. That doppelganger of his grandma told him he was part alien and they needed to do tests on him. When the boy fought back, they brought him back outside, where searchers later found him by a scrub brush. You can read more accounts of odd disappearances in our national parks in Pilates' Missing 411 book series. Oh, one other thing about Mount Shasta, it's always given me the creeps. It's a place we had to drive past twice a year as we traveled to California and then back up to Washington. When we got close to the national park boundary, I would curl up in a ball and I refused to set a foot outside the car whenever we stopped. I hope you never look at the ground beneath your feet the same way again. From the creatures to the plant life to utility access to long ago buried over relics and towns, it's just one more place that's more interesting the more we dig into it. Thank you for listening to Curious Cat. Please be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. The next episode marks the start of Season 2. We will share more information, stories, and feature interviews about the supernatural and cutting-edge science. Yeah, I'll be sharing the microphone with others as they tell their stories and give their accounts. Until then, stay curious. I love you.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Are you looking for a new podcast that appeals to your scientific curiosity, but is also a little bit spooky?
Show me how I died in a past life.
Well, look no further, because this cat is where it's at.
He had concerns about the ethics surrounding AI, feeling they had achieved consciousness.
Curious Cat Podcast examines the shadowy space where science and the supernatural collide. Listen every week with your host, Jennifer Holtz, as she and her guests explore what it means to be a soul in a meat suit.
We were healing karma together. They were all kind of predestined to resolve something.
Listen on all your favorite streaming apps and continue the conversation on Twitter at CuriousCatPodCA, or find Jennifer and all her links at Jennifer L. Holtz, spelled HOTES.com.